Fine, thank you, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, so I'll just put on my camera for a few seconds so that maybe if you see me where we're sharing money, you can share more for me. All right. All right, that's fine.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you again for having me at Digigap. I don't take it lightly. I always feel it's a privilege to share knowledge, to share information and knowledge. I'm a lifelong learner. So when it comes to learning and ensuring that people are very effective at what they do is something that I'm very passionate about. And so today, for the next 45 minutes or thereabout, we'll be looking critically at soft skills that will enable us to excel, in whatever we're doing. Okay. The first thing I want to say is this: as much as possible, ensure that you are in an environment where you could focus and listen properly, and also try to take as many notes as you can. Jot down points that you can take down during the course of the class. If you have questions, just write them down. At the end of the session, I will give us some time to, share thoughts we've learned today, and possibly also ask questions where we need some level of clarification. Okay, so but as well, I also want us very interactive, so I can call on us from time to time for us to interact. So let's see this more as a discussion, okay? And we're learning together. All right. Now, one other thing I must note is that when it comes to sessions like this, I'm sure that many of us have been in training sessions where we discussed about soft skills. So it's not something that's totally new to us. But one thing I always tell any of my listeners or students, as it were, or people who are listening to me when I'm training or having a session like this, is that three things always happen in a session like this, right? One, you're going to learn new things. Two, you're going to unlearn old things, unlearn things that maybe you learned before, which have been updated or which were wrong. You're going to unlearn things, and you must keep an open mind to be able to unlearn, right? And then you're going to relearn. Now, this last part of relearning is very, very critical because it is you trying to learn something you've learned before. That is correct, all right? But now learning it in a deeper way or discovering a better way to apply what you have learned, okay? Now, so what I'm saying in essence is that let's keep an open mind during this session. Now, also, when I'm training like this, I like to check that people are listening and are following what I'm saying. So what I do sometimes is I can just use a buzzword to say check. So when I say check, I'm checking to see that you are still following, the flow of thoughts and you understand what I'm saying. So if I say check, you also respond by saying check, all right? And if you don't understand what I'm saying, or you're not flowing, or you miss the point, you say not check. Check.
Check.
Check.
Beautiful, beautiful. You guys are very intelligent, geniuses, I must say. All right, check. Beautiful. All right. Now, before we deep dive into the soft skills, I must give you one of the things that I was able to curate when it comes to succeeding, whether in career or business, right? If you want to succeed in your career or business, even in the digital world and all that, there are three critical elements that you must focus on. Now, the first one is connections. Connections are very important, okay? Connections for career or business success, connections are very important. Now, not important in the sense that you want to circumvent adding value. No, it is important that you are able to relate well with certain people, because beyond your talent, beyond your skill, if you're not able to connect properly with the right set of people, you will not really go far. All right. So your connections are very important. How you connect with your mentors, how you connect with your sponsors. All right. Mentors and sponsors are quite different. Mentors are people who try to pass on knowledge to you, try to hold your hand, try to coach you, try to tell you what to do. But sponsors are people who go all out for you, recommend you for business, recommend you for promotion, and all that. Okay. So you need to have the right connections when it comes to your mentors, your sponsors, and then your peers, people at the same level with you, whether in your career or your business. You need to also select the right kind of people that will motivate you to move forward in your chosen career or business. And then your reports. Your reports are people who look up to you, whether in your organization or in the business world, who see you as their mentor. Also need to have the right set of people that look up to you, because they can also motivate you to actually do better. So the right connections are very important. I call it the career or the business success hack. All right. So number one is connections. You must have the right connections, and you must be very deliberate and very intentional about this. The next thing in this success hack is your results. Your results are very important. All right. So when we talk about results, what are the things you have been able to achieve? What are your achievements so far? Okay. No matter you started your career or business just a year ago, or you just finished, or you have been there for 5 years, what have you been able to achieve? You need to be able to articulate your achievements in a very intelligent manner, right? Whether in your profile or whether in your CV or, in a business proposal or a company proposal, you must be able to highlight your achievements. Also, part of the results are projects that you have been part of, whether it was your own or you volunteered to be part of the projects. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Check.
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, so the results are very important. Under results, you have achievements, you have projects, and you have profits. How you've been able to be very profitable in any venture is very, very important. You need to be able to focus on that. The projects you've been part of, whether it was you're the one who started the project or you volunteered, you also need to be part of that. So your results are very critical. And the last one in that success hack are your skills. So connections, your results, and your skills. Now, these skills, what we're going to dovetail into now, are three. We have three types of skill sets, right? The first type of skill set, what I call the in-demand skills. All right, in-demand skills. So at every point in time in the world of work or business, as it were, there are certain skills that will be in demand, meaning that they will be top priority. And I dare say in today's world, tech skills are in demand skills, all right? Digital skills are in demand skills. So it's very important that you actually learn in demand skills. You may not like it. So it's not about liking it. You may not have a flair for it. It's not about having a flair for it. It's about this is what is in demand, all right? And from time to time, world bodies come together and tell you the top 10 skills for the next 10 years, all right? It's good to also take note of that. And like I tell people, try to know at least 5 of those 10 skills that are being highlighted there. It just shows you that you will be in the value market, during that period. Okay? So in-demand skills are very important. The next one is what we call critical human skills. All right, otherwise known as soft skills. All right. And when I dive into this, we'll see a lot of skills that we have. The critical human skills are very important, or what we call soft skills are very, very important. Now, most time when people hear soft skills, they tend to downplay the importance of this skill set. But what you don't know is that no matter the level of in-demand skills, no matter the in-demand skills that you have, whether it is telephone or whether it is computer or whether you are in the digital age or we're in 5D age, critical human skills, or what we call soft skills, will never be outdated. There will never come a time where we don't need soft skills. There will never come a time where we don't need critical human skills, except humans don't want to connect anymore. And no matter how you digitalize everything, you want to automate everything, you still need human beings to control or configure or put the coding for those machines. And that tells me that humans will still connect. So it's very important, regardless of the industry you operate in, that you master, critical human skills. That it is called soft skills doesn't mean that it is weak. Because sometimes the way we interpret things when we hear them are a reflection of our background. All right. So when you hear soft, if you're not careful, you're thinking of weak, because you think, okay, fine, soft, is the opposite of hard. So that means anything that is soft is weak. That's not totally true. All right. So it can be soft because it is delicate. All right. And being delicate means it's very critical and it can be very tricky. So you need to master what we call critical human skills, or what you can call soft skills. The last under skills is relevant industry skills. All right. So whatever industry that you are in, it's important that you begin to also pay close attention to the relevant industry skills that are going to put you at least in the top 10% of people that matter in that industry. So three critical things that you must begin to pay close attention to, whether for your business or whether for your career, are your connections. Make sure you have the right connections, your mentors, your sponsors, your peers, reports, the right results, the achievements, the projects you're getting involved in, and the profit. All right. And then your skill set, in-demand skills, critical human skills, and relevant industry skills. Check, 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 check.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Check.
Mike, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Check.
Okay. All right. That's good. I like that. Fine, you can mute now. I know you're here. And you're following and you understand. Okay. So quickly, let's move to the 12 critical human skills for the future of work. All right. This is being globally researched, and these are skills that have been critical human skills or soft skills that have been selected, for the future of work. Now, the first one, and I'm not surprised, is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very critical. I mean, human beings are a bag of emotions. No matter how objective we want to be, human beings are a bag of emotions. And I always tell people that perception is reality. So everybody's perception is their own reality. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, it talks about primarily you being self-aware. All right. Before you start thinking of the other person's emotions, you need to be fully aware of your emotions. You need to be fully aware of how your emotions are being released. All right. And then also how your emotions are being perceived. Okay. So what are the things that get you easily upset? What are the things that get you easily excited? How is your own emotional management like? Okay. So before you start thinking about how to manage other people's emotions, whether you're in business or career, how you manage your customers' emotions, how you manage your boss' emotions for your employee, you need to first and foremost be aware of your own emotional system, right? And so that emotional intelligence starts from you. It is building self-awareness. And I dare say that, becoming self-aware is a lifelong journey. Because sometimes you think you know yourself fully, but you can surprise yourself. So it's very important that you become self-aware. Then when you are self-aware, you now also move to what we call self-management. Under emotional intelligence, you now move to what we call self-management. Okay, so now you are aware of yourself. Now, don't just end there and say, well, I hear people talk about the fact that this is how I am. I can't change myself, and all kind of things. Just take me as I am. Sorry, you can do that with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your husband or wife, but in the workplace or in the business place, you can't do that. If you keep telling people this is how you are, you can't change, then you're not ready to grow. Positive change equals to growth, whether in career or in business. And so you must deliberately, intentionally look for ways to always change positively, okay? So it's about being self-aware, and if you're self-aware of your strengths emotionally, it's also something you do not emphasize. So when people keep telling you that, for example, people tell you that you're a very courteous person, I like the way you talk and all that, it's something to also take note of, okay? And then, you know, maximize it as your strength. So emotional intelligence is not all about finding out things that are bad about you. No, it's about being aware of the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, about yourself, and then begin to manage it. So you move from self-awareness to self-management. And then when you move to self-management, you also need to become socially aware. Now that's when you begin to look at people in your ecosystem, your customers, your boss, your colleagues, people around you. You know, it's very important that you are aware you're socially aware. And then that now leads to what we call relationship management. Okay, so when you become aware of other people's emotions and the way they perceive certain things, you now know how to manage the relationship. Okay, and that is the circle of emotional intelligence. You start from being self-aware, all right? You look internally, you look at yourself, examine yourself properly. You move to self-management, okay? And then from there, you become socially aware of all the other social stakeholders in your system, and then you are able to manage the relationship. So emotional intelligence is very key. Like I said earlier, human beings are a bag of emotions. And for you to be able to excel beyond your technical skills that you're developing, you need to be emotionally intelligent. Okay, you need to know how to speak. You know, for example, at one time I saw some Uber driver speaking rudely to a customer, and I was wondering, you know, why was he so rude to this customer? It's clear that he's not emotionally intelligent. It's either he's not self-aware or he's not socially aware. But either case, he's not going to be getting any 5-star, for example, from that kind of customer. So you must be able, emotional intelligence is very key. I dare say, can be the deal breaker between you excelling in your business or you not excelling in your career. So very important that we take note of this. I remember one time I was in Uber and I was trying to locate a particular, where I was going to, I didn't know the place, and I was trying to locate the place and all that with the Google map. But somehow we couldn't really get the location. And the Uber driver just told me, Oga, it's like you will come down here, I can't go again. And I was wondering, I didn't even say anything when he was saying, like, I'll come down to the bus stop and just take a bike and start looking for where I'm going to. I behaved as if I didn't hear what he said. But true to what he was saying, he just parked at one bus stop and said, okay, you just come down here now and begin to find your way. And I told him, if I come down here, I'm not going to pay you a dime. You know? And he was like, he saw I was very serious. I said, I'll pay you a dime if I come down here. Because I said, you didn't pick me on the road, man. You picked me at my house. And the contract is for me to leave my house to get to where I'm going to. So how can you just say in a very rude way that, you know, I bet you just come as if I'm in a downfall or something like that. So you see, the guy was not emotionally intelligent. He was not. In fact, the way and manner he said it was even the problem, you know, at that point. So it's very important. I mean, if I was to rate him that day, I'll probably give him a 0 or something. So if you want to excel, can we please mute our mics? Who is in the marketplace? Okay. So it's very important that we understand that emotional intelligence is vital to our success in life, or success in business, or success in career. So don't say, oh, I'm a digital person, I don't need all these kind of things. So far, you're going to relate with people. You need to be emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent. It's very key. I can stay on this for the whole session, but I have to move on. We have 11 more critical human skills also to talk about. But I can't wait to hear questions and maybe experiences from other people about some of these skills, maybe how you've used it before, how you made a mistake around them. It will be good to learn from everyone. So the next one is critical thinking. Number 2, soft skill or critical skill for the future of work is critical thinking. All right. Now, critical thinking is something that is very, very important. I mean, and this means putting a little pressure on your brain. Okay. Putting a little pressure on your brain. But I dare say that if you put pressure on your brain when you have not put any content inside it, nothing will come out. All right, nothing will come out. So critical thinking doesn't even start with when you are thinking. It starts way before you start thinking about that particular thing. That is, you need to be somebody that goes after knowledge. Okay, you need somebody that reads wide. You know, don't be somebody who is narrow-minded. You know, you're just thinking about only that thing you are learning, whether it is coding or whether it is digital marketing, or whatever you are learning. And so you just feel, I know this is all I want to do. Yes, spend more time in what you want to be an expert in, by all means, But it is important that you also read very wide. Now, when you've read wide and you're somebody who's quite vast, critical thinking is something that becomes very easy to you, because when something comes up, a problem comes up, or a challenge comes up, or you're trying to push an idea or an initiative, you're able to think critically. All right. And employees or business people who can engage in critical thinking are perceived to be very competent. When you open your mouth and speak, people want to listen to you, because you are speaking. There's a level of intelligence you are releasing. And it's not just about speaking high-sounding words, because some people can speak high-sounding words and say nothing, okay? But it's about thinking critically to bring about solutions to issues that arise, okay? Critical thinking is about, thinking deeply, all right, to bring about solutions to issues that arise. And so they will arise. I mean, whether it's a business, whether it's a career, things will arise. And when you engage in critical thinking, when you spend time to think deeply, about things and then bring out solutions, you're seen to be competent, to be somebody that's reflective, to be someone that's independent. You're seen to be somebody that can spearhead things, and people begin to trust you with their money, trust you with key projects, that you can now take on. So you need to develop critical thinking. Like I said earlier, one of the ways to do that is to read wide. Another way to do that is to, connect to people who are critical thinkers. Okay, being in conversation with other people will get you thinking critically, because they are also critical thinkers. So the more you are with them, the more it begins to rub off on you in some way. But like I said, if every time you come around somebody that's a critical thinker, you're always quiet and always nodding your head, and you're not saying anything, the person will get tired. So you also need to also be reading and also be studying. So for example, you're a digitalpreneur, digipreneur, like you guys like to call yourself, or a digital marketer, or a graphic designer. That doesn't mean you shouldn't know anything about politics. We're not saying you should get involved in politics, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't know anything about policy formulation, policy making, governance, organizational structure, people management. Because if you have a dream, for example, that tomorrow you want to have a company that will have 1,000 people work in that company, these are these things that you need to know. You need to know them. So how do you know them? Google is your friend. Go on Google it. and then begin to, upgrade yourself when it comes to things like that. So when you are able to read wide, you're helping your brain, you're exerting the right energy, you're exercising your brain. See it as a way to exercise your brain. And then think deeply about those issues and bring your opinions, and then be bold enough to discuss about them when you have the opportunity to discuss about them, right? So critical thinking is a very important skill. Now let's try to speed up a bit. We have 10 more critical human skills. The next one is creativity. Creativity is very important. Creativity in the workplace, career or business, is for everyone, right? And when we think of creativity, most times people just tend to, leave it to people who are design conscious, or people who love colors. So when you say creativity, the next thing people think about is, okay, people that can play with colors, people that just like to play and all that. No, creativity is beyond just playing, as it were. All right. Creativity is for everybody. It is the ability to do things in simple ways. Okay, it's the ability to do things that are complex in simple ways. All right, and making it easy for people to understand. So it can either make you more efficient or make you more effective. All right, so it's about deconstructing complex issues or ideas and bringing the solutions in very simple formats. Okay. Yes, of course, there may be some level of what's the word now? Like I said, maybe playing with colors and all that, making presentations that are very attractive and all that. But really, at the root of creativity, it's about, deconstructing big issues and bringing it in simple ways for people to understand. So, and everybody needs to be very creative. All right. So it's not about just solving the problem. It's about how you are able to solve it, and how you're able to make it very easy for people to understand. Okay. And that's the brain box of creativity. So at every point in time, whether in your business or your career, you're thinking, how can we make this process, more creative in that sense? How can we make it, more, make it easier for people to understand, this particular concept or idea. So creativity is something that everybody needs to also imbibe. The next one quickly, the fourth one is problem solving. Okay, problem solving skill. All right. Now, there was a time, and everywhere I've worked really, the feedback that most people give to me, for example, everywhere I've worked, every project I've worked on, is that I'm a problem solver. And now I dare say that problem solving is a mindset. Okay, it's a mindset, and it's a mindset you must develop. One of the things about problem solving you must learn quickly is that there is no problem that does not have a solution. Every problem has a solution. And that means that, like I tell people jokingly, I said, if it doesn't have a solution, it's not a problem. If it doesn't have a solution, it is not a problem. So the proof that this is a problem is that it has a solution. We just need to discover or uncover where that solution is. So problem solving is the process of understanding a challenge. Okay, it starts from understanding the challenge and working towards finding a lasting solution to it. Okay, so before you start trying to crack the problem, it's very important that you understand the problem. Now, this will lead you to understanding the cause of the problem. So why did this problem occur? Now, it's very important, because if you go ahead to try to solve the problem without understanding the cause of the problem, what will likely happen is that you won't get a lasting solution. Okay, and then that problem may even repeat itself as you go on. So it's very important to understand that one of the ways to develop problem-solving skills is, number one, understand that have the mindset that every problem can be solved. Okay, now this of course gets you to relax. So when other people are being anxious and all that about the issue, you are very relaxed, and that way you are able to think very clearly. And then the next thing in problem solving is that you understand the challenge, seek to understand the problem or the challenge, seek to understand the cause of the problem, and then step by step begin to work towards finding a lasting solution to the problem. All right. The fifth one is collaboration. Collaboration is a critical human skill. Now, some of the things I'm mentioning here, they may look very simple, they may look very like, I know that, I know that. It's not about knowing it, it's about living it out. So I want you to, like I said earlier, don't just say, I've heard of problem solving before, I've heard of emotional intelligence. These are words that have become buzzwords today, but people don't understand how to actually live these things out. So we're discussing it so that we can begin to place emphasis on it and see the results in our business or career. So collaboration is very important. You must have a collaborative spirit in that sense, okay? So what is collaboration? It's about, whether in the workplace or in business, it's your ability to, interconnect with people. When two or more people, work together through idea sharing to accomplish a common goal. Okay, so sometimes in collaboration, you will require, people coming together to brainstorm, to share ideas, and also to divide the work, that they have, to bring about a shared purpose or a common goal. So people come together. So the ability to effectively work with a team to achieve a result is what we call collaboration. All right, like they always say in the local palace, they say now collaboration, now make rice, full the pot. I think I've edited that. Now make rice, full pot. Who can correct? Who knows that proverb very well? Hello, check.
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 Who knows that proverb? Who can tell me the proverb very well? I think I didn't say it very well. Do we have any? Go on. Elizabeth, you know it.
I don't know.
Eh? Who knows it? I want to
I
get
said I don't know, sir.
Okay, sir. There is this one that said, when different persons unite, then it will have buzz. In Igbo language, they say, agbakọ nyoma mere ọgbọ ofufu. If you hear
very
Igbo,
deep.
so that is agbakọ nyoma mere ọgba ofufu.
Okay.
So, yes.
Wow, that's a powerful one. Thank you, Godfrey. So who has another proverb that talks about teamwork or collaboration that wants to share with us?
Okay, let me say what you said. They say now combination they make pot of food full. Like now join hand make the pot of food many. So that's just it.
Okay, now combination now make pot of
Plenty.
stew, I mean food plenty. Okay.
Yeah.
I remixed it to say na collaboration.
Cooperation.
Thank you
I
very
make
much.
rice full pot.
You have the that was the word I was looking for. Na cooperation.
I make rice full
Collins,
pot.
you must have done a lot of concussion rice.
There is also this
Na
thing.
cooperation. That's the word I was looking for. Collaboration was not looking. Na cooperation. I make a pot of rice full. So cooperation, collaboration. Well done. Someone says two heads are better than. I can see. Two good heads are better than one. So of course, we must learn to collaborate. I mean, today, look at the top businesses in the world, even in digital space, Facebook, Meta, Yahoo, Yahoo, even Microsoft, most of these, multi-billion or million enterprises were started by teams. Of course, what it just did was just select one person to be the head or who has larger shares. But it's people coming together to collaborate, to actually achieve a goal. Does that mean you're going to agree on every single thing you do together? No, you will not. But the ability to collaborate despite your differences or despite having differing views from time to time, you still understand how to connect to achieve a common goal is a skill. And one of the ways to just do that is to what I call have a healthy self-esteem. Okay. So what I mean, what I mean by that is the context of you don't always have to have things go your way all the time. People that have issues with collaborating are people that either don't have a very healthy self-esteem or they always want things to go their way. So if you're in a meeting, for example, with your business partner, or you're in the meeting in the office, you must be healthy enough emotionally, really, to be able to see your idea being turned down and not get upset, or not now collaborating to achieve the goal because we decided not to go your own way. People like that are not ready to, cooperate, and they will not be able to go very far in that journey, whether it's for their career or their business. So we need to learn to have a healthy self-esteem and not to always think too highly of ourselves, that when we don't have our way, we begin to throw tantrums. So we must be very mature when it comes to developing collaborative skill set. All right, the sixth one quickly is influencing. Influencing. I know some people are influencing is a skill. Yes, influencing is a skill. And it's something you must develop. Despite any of your default personality, whether you're a quiet person, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, is irrelevant. Everybody can influence. And it doesn't mean that you must be talkative to be able to influence, right? It's about learning the art and the skill of influencing. And for everybody, each one of us has the leadership potential, okay? So we're born, we all have that leadership thing. We may not have developed it to the same level, as other people have developed theirs, but leadership is about influencing people, and that is something that we must develop. So it's about you presenting yourself in a way that people tend to trust you, all right, and want to associate with you, okay? So that when you speak or when you bring up an idea, they're able to sway, to what you have said, because you have been able to, over time, show yourself as somebody that can be trusted. And that way, you can influence their actions or influence their decisions. So it's not just about, talking and trying to be very persuasive. It's part of it. But influencing really is a power play. It's your ability to get people to take actions or decisions that either they would not have taken, because they are now invested in you. So really, real influence is not instant. Real influence is something that you develop over time, and it will require you to be consistent, with the values that you say that you want to develop as a person. So it's very important. It's a very important critical human skill, and we must take it as such. Now we need to run. Okay. That's number 6, right? Now, number 7 skill is negotiation. Negotiation. Now, I'm sure most of us know what negotiation is. The first thing that will come to your mind is when you are trying to get a very good price. If you are buying something from somebody and you begin to haggle about market prices in the market and all that. But negotiation goes beyond that. It's part of it, but we must develop the ability to negotiate well when it comes to, even in your career, when it comes to negotiating timelines, when it comes to bargaining, when it comes to resolving interpersonal conflicts, when it comes to creating work schedules, or delegating specific tasks, to various individuals in the team. When it comes to your relation with your client, the client says, I want this thing to be done by so day, and you feel that you cannot deliver that particular thing. It's not just about saying, no, I cannot deliver. It's about understanding how to get that person to see reasons with you why, what you are saying should be adhered to. And when you're coming to the negotiation table, you must also give allowance. Don't just come with the mindset that, whatever I say, so we must go with. Okay? Again, you see that your influencing skill is required here. Okay? Because if you're talking to the person doesn't trust you, he may not want to even budge at all. So you need to ensure that you are able to develop that kind of skill. For example, if someone's a fashion designer and the person sees that maybe, for example, I give a cloth to my fashion designer and say, what, I need it in the next 3 days. Now, most of you know that fashion designers, especially in Nigeria, are very special, and that's why people always lie to them and say, I have a wedding on so date. I mean, well, you don't have any wedding, but they just want their clothes to be ready on time. Now, you don't need to start lying to get people to do what you have to do. Okay, and also on the part of the fashion designer, you don't need to also just say, no, it can't be ready, because efficiency is also very important when it comes to the way your client perceives your service. So what happens is that you are the fashion designer, or you are the business person, the number of work you need to do vis-a-vis the number of staff that you have, for example. And now somebody is bringing, a project to you or business to you, you need to be able to say, this is the amount of time on a first come, first serve basis, that we would take. Oh, we're going to take 1 week to do this, your clothes. I'm saying, no, I can't wait for 1 week. I want it 2 days. And then you guys go back and forth, giving reason. So in negotiation, you must give logical and convincing reasons, okay, to back up your own point. And, you give room. Maybe you guys will now end up agreeing on 4 days. So instead of 7 days, of 2 days, you can now agree and meet at the middle. So the ability to develop, negotiation skills are very important. And inside this skill, you need influencing skills, you need communication skills. So it's a combination of certain soft skills to be able to get it. Okay, quickly, conflict management. The next one is conflict management. That is number 8, conflict management. All right. This just talks about learning again how to connect with people. Okay. So when it comes to the world of work, conflict management is an offshoot of diversity and inclusion, and it's something that is becoming very, very important in our world today. So whether you're a business person, whether you're a career person, you need to learn conflict management skills. And that starts from you understanding that people are special, people are different, and people will not see things the way you see them. Now, when it comes to conflict management, of course, like I said, having that at the background, makes you understand that when 1 or 2 people stay together for a long time or work together, there's bound to be, one form of disagreement or the other, whether in the workplace or as business partners or between the client and the customer, client and the business person rather, but you need to understand that, number one, when that happens, try to separate the personality from the issue. Okay, that's one thing you must do quickly. So instead of saying, oh, this person is always doing this, the first to do is try to say, you know what, let us analyze this issue for what it is and not what we perceive it to be. Instead of coming, that's how these Igbo people are. That's how these Hausa people are. That's how these, no, that's how women are. No, don't when in conflict management, like I said, the first thing to do is to just respect that people are different, when it comes to gender, culture, as it were, and don't bring that in, when conflicts arises. And when they arise, try to separate the personalities involved from the issues and focus on the issue at hand, okay? So whether you have opposing personalities, belief systems, or ideas, it is something that you must be able to work at easily. Okay. That should be number 8, I guess. Yeah. So number 9 critical human skill is resilience. Resilience is very important. Resilience is, for lack of a better word right now, is staying power. And I dare say that for people who operate in Nigeria, whether in the business space or in the career, you need this staying power. I mean, there's so many issues that will come up. You have competition, whether you're a career person, a business person. One of the key strategies to keep on producing results, in a consistent manner is to have that staying power. You must be resilient, right? It's a very key strategy to tackle stress, tackle competitive job market, tackle workplace conflicts, tackle having a boss that is not very nice, tackling all manner of things. So you must develop stamina. And trust me, everyone will go through challenging times, right? And today, I mean, I hear a lot of people, young people talk about mental health, and we just throw those words here and there. But what you really need to develop is resilience, okay? It is to say that no matter the challenges that come my way, no matter what the economy is saying, no matter whatever is happening out there, I am going to be here and I'm going to focus on my goals and I'm going to achieve my goals, okay? It is a very key strategy that we need to employ. And one of the ways to do that is to surround yourself with positivity, okay? So make sure you watch the right stuff. Make sure you surround yourself with also positive-minded colleagues or friends or business partners, because if every time you bring an idea and the person you call your friend just turns it down and says it cannot work, cannot work, the person is a pessimist, the chances are that you begin to take in all the stress and you will not be very positive and you will not have enough strength to go on, right? So to develop resilience, you need the right force field around you, okay? Now, I'm not saying surround yourself with praise singers or people who just tell you everything you're doing is okay. No, I'm saying that you need to have a healthy mix of people that can be real with you, but at the same time can propel you to achieve your goals. So resilience is a very important skill that you need to have in the world of work. All right. The next one is adaptability. I like this one a lot. Adaptability. All right. And as the word, it just simply means being flexible. All right. And like I said, when I started this session, I said, change is something you must embrace. You must not resist change. Okay. So, for example, I remember when we didn't have computers, we had only typewriters. And so I was opportune to be around that age where typewriters were being, phased out. And at that point, some people, when computers were coming in, some people were still going to learn typewriting because they just believed that, no, I want to learn it. And they wanted to resist the computer change. But I mean, 10 years down the line, they were out of jobs. They refused to learn computer. They were stuck on their typewriting. Gradually, nobody needed them to be in the meetings to type anymore. The secretaries didn't need to know typewriting, so don't fight change that is bigger than you. Let me put that word, okay? Once you see that there's change, and most times positive change, you need to learn to adapt, whether in the workplace or in the business place, right? Be flexible and be able to change, right? To become more successful. It's a soft skill. It's a skill that requires some level of tact, okay? So what do you need to do to be adaptable? When you see change coming, study the change, and then ride on it. You know, change is like, if you, for those who do surfing, I don't know, it's not a very popular sport in Nigeria, but surfers are people who ride on waves, you know, on the sea or the beach. Okay, the skill there is not that you are doing anything serious. It's just for you to be able to observe keenly when the wave is coming, and then just allow yourself, you know, to go with the wave. And that's the same thing really in life or in business and career. It's about understanding what is changing now. Okay, are people, you know, what is in demand in the market? What is happening in my industry? Keenly observe it and then ride on it. Okay, very, very important. And adaptability is something that most employers also look out for when hiring candidates, because things can change. And if you are adaptable enough and can learn very fast, you will be an asset to your company or to your business. Number 11, quickly, is learning. Learning is a skill, right? It's a critical human skill that you need to adapt to. And learning is not about, I don't have time. No, it's something, it's an attitude really. And it's something you need to develop over time, okay? So for example, you need to be, like I said, you be a lifelong learner, all right? And then you need to put, because you see, put structure and systems around your learning. Whether you're going to read books, whether you're going to attend seminars, you're going to learn from mentors, attend trainings, put a system around it, okay? And learners are people that can observe very quickly, okay? It helps you build skills and knowledge that you require to excel in your job. And you will be, see, when learning becomes a skill for you, you will definitely have an edge over other people in your field, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're a digital marketer. When you are a learner, you just love learning things. Before the other person will find out what is going on in the agric industry, you are agric tech. Because you are learning, you know the latest invention in it, you will have an edge. And you can quickly begin to do something around that and even make profit before the other person who is not a learner, who doesn't read anything, doesn't not care about what's happening in this world, you know, and will be the last to hear about everything. Okay, so put a structure. Tell yourself, for example, I want to learn something new every day. Every single day, I want to learn something new. And you can put a structure, read a book, one book a month. And I tell people, break it down, read 10 pages per day, and then begin to see yourself. Don't decide to read the book, of the book in one day. No, you can just read 10 pages per day and then begin to develop the learning skills, all right? So learners are growers. And the day you stop learning, you start dying. Very important. The day you stop learning new things, you start dying. So you must be open-minded to learn new things. Because when you are learning, you are growing. And the last critical human skill for today is communication. Communication. All right. Communication is not just about diction, right, or accent. Now, those are parts of communication, but really communication is about connection. All right. It's about making connection with other people, whether your colleagues in your organization or your clients or your customers in that sense. It's about creating an environment where everybody, you know, in that system feels included and heard. So communication is not complete or it's not effective when the other receiver or the recipient of the communication doesn't feel valued. All right. And the way to make them feel valued is to hear them out. So one of the most critical parts of communication is listening. You must develop your listening skills. And it's very important when it comes to career or business, because sometimes people just assume that they've heard what somebody said. Okay? No. You must, you see, until you understand what the person said, you've not really heard the person. You just heard what they said, but until you understand it, you've not really communicated. So in communicating, you must develop the art of, you know, ensuring that people that are listening to you understand what you are saying, okay? And it's something, and also the person also listening must not listen to respond, but must listen to understand. The problem most people have most times that they are listening to respond. So most times when that person is talking, they just say, just finish your own. I have my response already. Now that way you cannot communicate effectively. And when you do that, at the root of most misunderstandings, or in business or in career, even in life generally, is a breakdown in communication. So for us to be able to excel, really, we need to communicate at every level. For us to work as a team, work as a group, to be able to understand our customers very well, understand our bosses very well, we need to learn how to communicate. And on that note, I want to say we have come to the end of today's session. Check, 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 check.
Check. Check. Check. Check.
Check, check.
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 All right. Good.
Check.
So now
Check.
let's quickly take.
I don't know what it means.
So me too, check.
Check.
For those who joined us later,
I'm not
check
just
means that
joining.
you. Oh, okay, good. That's good. That's fine. All right. So quickly, let's have some questions or comments. What we've learned today. So let's hear from us. If you want to say something, just raise your hand. I guess there should be a reason. Is there a hand raising thing here? Okay. Okay. Can we just go on? So if you want, let's questions, comments, what we learned today. Let's hear from. Okay, someone's hand is up. Go on. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. Sir, I want to know the difference between influencing and dominating. Thank you, sir.
Influencing and what?
Dominating.
Dominating. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So just that's Chidibon, right? Ask the question, right? Okay, good. Yeah, so influencing is, like I said earlier, is about getting people to do what they will not have done. Dominating is trying to manipulate people. Okay, when you dominate, when you try to dominate somebody, you're trying to manipulate them, and that's not good. Okay, you're trying to blindside them, not seeing the full picture of what you want them to do, and then just also making them do it by force. Influencing is not by force. Okay, it is something that people trust you because over time you have shown that you're consistent, with your values, and they are able to now influence them to make positive decisions. So influencing is the positive side of dominating in that sense. Dominating is you not trying to manipulate people because of maybe your position, or manipulate them because you feel you're more powerful than they are. And that is not going to be okay in the long term. Is that okay, Chidibem?
Yes, sir.
No, it's not Chidibem's question.
All right, good. Thank you. Joshua, you can go ahead.
Okay, let me ask my question.
Okay. Who asked before?
Hello?
I thought it was Chidibem that asked.
Hello, it's Joshua speaking now.
Okay, go on,
Hello?
Joshua.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for
Good afternoon.
the insights. Very educating. Now, my question goes this way. In terms of these soft skills you mentioned, how does people's personality add in to this? Because some people, they have some personality, negative ones indeed, that they don't actually work hard on or try to improve on them. And they're part of a team. And for their mind, they're collaborating, but they have these personalities that are really not encouraging. So how can that be improved? What can be done in a team to help people like that? Or what can that person do to help him herself?
Okay, thank you very much, Joshua. So, I mean, first of all, everybody's personality, there's no bad personality in that sense. I mean, we're just different people Some people are extroverts, some people are introverts, meaning that some people are more out there, they can connect better by default. But like I said earlier, whatever personality you have, or personality traits, let me use that word now, that you have, whether they're negative or positive, you need to start from being self-aware. So the first place to bring about a change for those people, whether they're the ones working on their negative traits, or their managers now working on it, is that they need to be self-aware that they have these bad personality traits. All right? So they need to be aware that they have these bad negative traits. And it can come, if it's in the office place, it can come through appraisal, where people can have discussions with them to say, you know what, we've identified that you have so negative traits, and then we're here to help you work on it. Okay? Now, all these 12 critical skills, I mean, one way or the other, will address some of those negative traits. Okay? And it's something that they need to be, first of all, being self-aware. They now learn how to begin to manage themselves as they transition, you know. And one way to go about it is getting knowledge. When you get knowledge, okay, it opens you up. You begin to understand certain things you didn't understand before. All right. So one way to help such people is, the first place, get knowledge. Now, if you're a colleague and you're not the one managing them, you may not want to just go and start having a discussion about it up front. What you can do is to, you know, in a very nice way, maybe buy them a book, you know, that will address that issue, you know, and encourage them to read it, you know. But if you're a line manager, you can actually sit them down and have that discussion in a very open and a very loving way. And then if you are that person who has that negative trait, get knowledge. And as you get that knowledge, begin to take actions and steps towards turning that negative trait into something positive. Also, getting a mentor will also help the person, because a mentor will help you step by step to bring about that change. All right, thank you very much. Joshua, I hope I've answered your question, Joshua.
Yes, thank you so much. And you know, from what you said, it's very clear. But I think the first line of action there is the person, like you said, self-awareness. I think that's where the most challenge is. Some people, they may not know that they have it. I don't know, but at least that's the first step. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joshua. All right, Chidubem, I think you have the floor now. Then we'll take Solomon and Damilola.
Yes, my question is, can we have a template for this self-awareness so that one can use it to tick good or tick bad, so that it will help us to be aware of ourselves? Or what are the practical things one need to engage in?
Okay, Chidubem, thank you for your question. Well, practical templates. I'm sure if you go online and ask for, just search Google on Google, I'm sure you can get certain templates or
Did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question. You talk about self-awareness.
I have
right?
another question.
Okay, you have another question. Let me just answer this one first, then you ask the second one.
All right.
Good. So like I said, I'm sure if you go online, when it comes to personal development, self-awareness, there are various personality tests, platforms that will help you, discover a bit about yourself, right? There's one called DISC, D-I-S-C, right? You could just D-I-S-C. Those are personality test templates that can help you discover certain things about yourself. However, one of the simpler ways to go about it is ask people around you. Okay, you can just do like a small survey or just one or two questions. What do you think about me? What do you think are my strengths or weaknesses? So if you choose 5 of your friends or 5 of your close colleagues, people that will tell you the truth, and you send them that question, or if you want to make them more comfortable to give you feedback, you can make it anonymous. You can just do a link or something that won't make you know who said what. And you send it to 5 of your friends. If the feedback comes, if you have the feedback and they are saying similar things, whether negative or positive, it's a pointer to who you really are. When you have three or more people telling you a particular thing, most likely there's an element of truth in it. So that's a very simple way to go about it quickly. But again, like I said, you can also have other platforms to check to be more aware of who you are as a person. All right, what's the next question, please?
Yes, the two more questions is one, how do you deal with unforgiveness? How do you deal with anger? How do you deal with unforgiveness? How do you deal with anger? Then, lastly, you talked about collaboration. There's a project I am involved in, and looking at the project, it's more like I am the field person. My colleague, who was also meant to be the field person, but let's say he has been in before me. Now, giving a hand of friendship, we're in the same level actually, but giving a hand of friendship to him and asking him from time to time, what do we do? And he doesn't respond because he has another job he's doing. And obviously that job is more important to him. But then at the end of the day, when I have gone to do a lot of underground work, once the project is obvious that it's going to work, he now comes up. And it's so annoying, honestly. So he's not in the picture. You ask him questions, he will not respond. He will not answer. He will not respond on WhatsApp and all of that. But once I've done underground work and I've done all the necessary things to be done, taking my time, once I am now making a request from the HQ to now give approval, he will now pump up and he will now begin to respond. What am I supposed to do at that point?
Okay, so I will start from the last question you just asked. One thing that most people need to become more comfortable with is having critical conversations, okay? Critical conversations is about being upfront with somebody about things that can be very unpleasant. So again, the way you communicate it matters. You're not going with the mindset of trying to fight. You're going with the mindset of trying to find a more sustainable way to work with him. So you need to have a meeting with him, not just saying it flippantly by the side. I don't like the way they do this thing. So no, you schedule a meeting with him and say, you know what, I've observed this, and it's not going to work in the long term. It's not sustainable. It can't be a case of monkey the work and baboon the shop. You know, let me use that local statement. So you need to have that critical conversation with him. Now, if at that point, after having that conversation with him, he doesn't change, you need to escalate. So escalation, I don't know how your mission is, but I want to believe that there's somebody that both of you may likely report to. So you need to escalate. Because if you have that conversation with him once or twice, it would be good to have some form of evidence that you've had that kind of conversation before. And then you escalate to the proper, so that you want to collaborate with somebody doesn't mean that you're not going to work with difficult people. And doesn't mean that for collaboration to work, the two parties need to be ready and willing to collaborate. And if one is not willing to collaborate effectively, then you need to firstly have critical conversation with that person. Present your facts. Don't make it emotional. Be objective as possible. And then if the person doesn't budge, by all means escalate. Escalate to proper quarters, document these things. And what you will recommend when escalating is that the work should be divided between the two of you. So, I mean, if the tax involved in that work is 12 tax, it should be divided equally. You can, officially be given 6 tax in that work, and you can be given 6 tax. So if for any reason you guys don't deliver on that project, it's clear whose fault it is, when it comes to assessing what went down, for the tax. But the first to do is to have that critical conversation. If it doesn't work, then you can escalate and request for a division of labor. On the other question of unforgiveness and anger, again, become self-aware. I mean, once you agree that, oh, I have this issue, that's the first step in the right direction, okay? When it comes to unforgiveness, what I've realized over time is that the person who is bearing down forgiveness is the one who's suffering the most. You're the one giving yourself heartache and some emotional disturbance most times. The person you haven't refused to forgive, he can be living his life without having any issues. So the best thing to do is to release the person, if not for the person, for your sake, for your own. I mean, it has been researched over time by scientists that some of the diseases that people have, very chronic diseases, are caused by unforgiveness and anger and all these kind of emotional issues, So the way the body is wired, if you keep all these negative emotions of anger, of unforgiveness, it will do you more harm than good, even medically, in the long run. So if for nothing, you should be able to forgive the person for yourself and move on. And also just understand that people will be people, okay? If you trusted somebody and they did something bad to you, or you did good to somebody and did something bad to you, just take it that that's human nature. Try to learn from whatever went wrong, and try not to make the mistake again, as the case may be. So that way, forgive people and don't harbor anger, as it were. When you are angry about something, these are all emotions, forgiveness, anger. What you need to do if you're angry is try to cool off. People have different ways of cooling off. They can walk out and keep quiet for a while. But it's still good to express yourself, but not in that angry state. So try to really think deeply, what really went wrong here? What was my own fault? What was the person's fault? What was their fault? Whatever it is. And then try to analyze it and learn from it and move on. Is that okay, Chidibem?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you too. All right, Solomon Promise, over to you. Question or comment, Solomon Promise?
It's a question, but you have really answered most of my question.
Oh, okay, good.
Questions you answered.
All right, thank you very much. So that's good. Answer the questions. All right, over to, but Promise, how was the class? What did you learn from the class? What's taken from the class?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking, but we can hear you now.
Yes, but I would still like to make some comments.
Go on, please.
Well, the class was quite insightful, and one of the things. All right, the class was quite insightful. I had wanted to say, if it's on record, something they can post. If it's on record, something they can post online, like on YouTube, so that we can still access.
Yes, I can see
so
that.
So that we can still access the video, or probably a recording, so that we can still access it later, so that we listen to these things, because you said a lot. You said quite a lot, and all are helpful and insightful.
Okay, so Paul, thank you. I think the network was not pretty good. Yes, it was being recorded by Net Factory, and I'm sure that they can share the link to us so that we could listen again and again. All right, so thank you very much. Darola, over to you. Darola Akinri, sorry, let me not murder your surname. Go on, Aki.
Thank you.
Damela.
Thank you, sir. Just like I asked the other time, that what's the difference between influencing and dominating? So let's assume I have a colleague who I perceive to be dominating, and I walk up to the person to tell the person that, oh, you're dominating, and the person picks an offense in that. What can be done to that, sir?
Okay, I couldn't hear you clearly, but I think you said you had a colleague that is dominating, and I explained the difference, right? So how do you go about, resolving that? Is that your question?
Yes, and the person picks an offense in literally that he's dominating. What can I do to that?
Okay, of course. I mean, if you are, it depends on who the colleague is. Is it your boss, or is it a peer? Is it a peer or just your colleague? Is it your boss or a peer?
A peer, and the person has a top person that he speaks to, and the person also is using that to affect my own job.
All right. Well, the key thing now is that when it comes to communicating about, can we put the person in mute? Okay. When it comes to communicating or having critical conversations, you need to have some level of tact. Okay. And this is where you become socially aware. You understand people's personality and how to go about communicating with them. Well, by all means, nothing wrong in you expressing yourself. It's just that you must know how to express yourself. So, for example, I don't know if you're older than this person by age or not, but understanding people's personality, understanding their value system also matters a lot. So if, for example, both of you are from the same tribe, and your tribe, right, your ethnic group, emphasis is placed on, seniority, who's older than who, how you communicate that this person, you feel this person is trying to dominate or manipulate you, matters a lot. Okay, so there needs to be some level of tact, looking at these factors to ensure that as much as you want to communicate how you feel to the person, you also don't want the person to be hurt, okay, or feel offended in that sense. So if you weigh the options and you see that there's no way you telling this person, the person will take it very well, you may need to tell somebody who's senior that can actually communicate this to him and give him that feedback, okay? Because why am I saying this? I mean, you need to look at what you've learned in the context of the environment that you are currently at. If it's maybe in a multinational company where people call themselves by their first name, you can walk up to anybody when they are 50 years older than you and talk to them, just like that. If it's that kind of environment, there's no problem. You just go and say, I don't like the way you talk to me, Bill, and all that. But if you're in an environment where seniority is key, age is key, and all that, you also don't want to ruffle the boat, right, in trying to also communicate. So the wise thing to do may just also be, look for somebody who is, senior in the organization to actually, who can also be trusted, when you communicate and keep whatever you tell the person in confidence. Then that person will be able to now, engage that your colleague. Or we just be even, I don't know if your company has a system where you can talk to HR and HR can also communicate with the person without exposing who actually went to report about this character, in that sense. So there needs to be some level of evaluation to be able to determine how to go exactly about handling that issue. Damla, is that okay?
Yes, that's okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. All right, quickly, we have 3 more people. David Bukumi. Can we have you, David, quickly? Question, comment, David? David, are you still with us? Okay. All right, let's go to Kolawole. Kolawole, you can go on.
Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Yeah, I just want to leave a comment.
Okay, Kola, can you just allow David talk? We came up late, but let's allow him talk. David, go on quickly.
Okay, so my question is, when you were talking about the first three qualities, the connections, the results, and the skills, under the result, you made mention of something that there are some like ranking skills that are top skills for the moment. You made mention of something that sometimes is not about you liking them or having flair for them, that you should just look for a way to learn it. Now then, I want to ask, what is the role of passion in having a career path?
All right. So I mentioned that when I was talking about in-demand skills, right? That skills that are currently in demand in a particular sector or industry. Now, of course, the passion plays a very critical role, okay? But at the same time, you need to observe, all right? So, except you are able to quickly develop skills in line with your passion, and it begins to bring about the desired results quickly, there might be need to still learn other things and do other things as you begin to build yourself for what you're really passionate about. Okay, so for example, maybe your passion is that you want to have motherless babies homes for people all over the world. You want to build, that's your passion. You want to go all over and do all that. And you need a lot of funds to actually do all that, you know, get grants, funds, and all that. Now, while that is good, and you can start developing yourself along those lines, you may not get the kind of resources you need from it immediately. Okay? So trying to say, okay, let me now even go and learn tech skills, you know, because I believe tech skills are what are in demand, digital marketing skills, tech skills, or whatever, to be able to survive while I keep on working on my passion in the long term is wisdom. Now, interestingly, learning those in-demand skills will also give you an edge in fulfilling your passion in the long run. Because in the example I'm giving you, for example, now, about your passion being to build NGO model-based homes, and then you learning tech skills, those tech skills will come in handy when you want, or marketing skills will come in handy, or the skills you will learn in that sector that are in demand will come in handy in the full actualization of your passion. So I'm saying in essence that if you look at what is in demand in that particular sector that you want to be in, or you look at what is demand generally in the world of work, and what you are passionate about doesn't seem to connect with anything that is there, you can still keenly observe one or two, you know, of those skills, learn them while you're still working on your passion, and at the long run, it will give you an edge to fulfill that passion. If you refuse and say, no, I'm not going to learn all those things, I'm going to just fulfill my passion, I'm not saying you will not fulfill your passion eventually. It's just that you may take a longer time, and you may not really be in demand when it comes to people trying to get your services or your skills, as the case may be, whether for career or for business. So this is not to say that your passion is not valid. It is valid, right? But you also need to look at what do people need right now. What do the larger percentage of people need right now? And how can I be of service to them? And that way, as you do that and you're working on passion, there will definitely be a meeting point between what you love and what people will pay for, right? And that is the dream job. But in the meantime, you can still begin to pursue learning a skill that will be valuable. Who asked that question?
I'm the one, Bukumi David. Thank you
David,
very much,
good.
sir.
Okay. Oh, I was able to help you out.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, Kolawole.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So I just want to leave a comment and say the class has really been insightful and interesting. So this something I've heard in a long time before, but the perspective to which you explained it is quite broad. And in the aspect of forgiveness, I remember one of the things my doctor, he's an Indian man, told me a story where I went to, he said there is peace in forgiveness. Like there is a certain level of peace that you have when you forgive people. So I just want to portray that an aspect. And even me personally, there are times when I used to pray, and when it gets to the Lord's Prayer aspect, and I say, "Forgive me as I forgive others," I always remember there's this conscious reminder in my mind, like, okay, did you forgive here what I blocked? Did you forgive Tosin that you did this to? So when those things started popping up in my head, I feel like it's my consciousness trying to beat me for, like, you have to forgive people that you have in mind before you can ask God for forgiveness. And since when I started doing it, I enjoy the level of peace. I even had people, like, I tell them I'm forgiving them, they will be like, who cares? Like, when I don't forgive them, what has my forgiveness end for them? Like, who cares? Despite they know they're the one that did wrong. So there are always stubborn people like that. But regardless, I enjoy a certain level of peace, and I can even, make fun of them. And that's their own burden. So the class is really interesting, and it's worth the time. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kola, for that feedback and for that insightful story and explanation. I mean, for forgiveness really is not about the other person; it's about you releasing yourself. You said, it's whether the person is remorseful or not. It's not a condition for forgiveness, like you said, and that's very powerful. Thank you so much for that feedback. Okay, lastly, for last Adeyeye. Let's have you for last Ade. Question, comments?
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for
Good afternoon.
Sir. Really appreciate it. So, sir, straight to my question. I'm actually a content creator and a short filmmaker. So what do you think I am supposed to do to achieve my dream early on social media?
Okay, so I mean, that's beautiful. Content creator, short film. The first thing to do is to sharpen your skills. Okay, sharpen your skills. Get people who are already doing what you want to do in that space of content creation and filmmaking. I'm sure you have people who are role models, but mentors are more than role models. Role models are people you know from far. And you see, when somebody is a role model, you can actually, beyond just saying, I like the way that person does what he's doing, do a lot of research, about how they do what they do. What have they read? What knowledge do they have? If they have a mentoring group, try to join that mentoring group. If they're organizing a seminar, go and pay. And, if they've written a book, buy the book, whether they're in America or Nigeria, or wherever they are coming from. So it's very important that you are hungry for the knowledge, all right? It's beyond just taking a picture with the person on Instagram and say, I'm a role model. Beyond that one, go for what the person knows, because that's what will make you to stand out, okay? So that's the first step, to get knowledge. And if you can get mentors in that field, get the mentors that you also require. Then the next thing is the connections. Okay, so connections is one. Get the right mentors and the right sponsors. Okay, be deliberate about it. All right, if there are people, list who are the top 5 people in that space today. Okay, when you list them, you can do very well crafted email. You don't need to know somebody and know somebody and know somebody. If you do, no problem. If not, you can get their email or their DM and do a very well crafted email. I want to be my mentor, blah, 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 articulate why and all that. And also articulate the value you also bring to them as a mentee and all that. You're open to volunteering, to execute their own projects and all that and all that. All right. And then the last thing is document your work.
Okay,
document your work, right? On your social media page, document it, whatever you are doing, whatever short film you are doing, ensure there's a trail of successes. People always want to associate with people that are successful. So when you have evidence, you have been able to, excel in this, people want to also associate with you. That way you definitely excel. And also give yourself targets every year, how many people you want to reach out to, how much you want to make, all that. So that way you excel.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
Yes,
you're welcome. All right, thank you very much for those of you who made it this far. Like somebody asked earlier, I'm sure the recording, the link will be shared with us. It has been my pleasure having this discussion for almost 2 hours now. Please ensure that you take whatever you learn, take action almost immediately. That means today, tomorrow, take action what you have learned today. With 1 or 2 things you've learned, ensure that you take action. In that way, it sticks and you can get the results. All right. Thank you very much. Check.
Check out. Check.
Check out. All right.
Check. Thank you, sir.
Check out.
Thank you so much, sir.
Check. All right. Safer, I don't know if you want to say something before leaving, but we're done.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for this session. Thank you so much, sir, for having us. It was really an amazing session. Okay, so to everyone, this is a weekly session, so we're going to have one next week as well, and you will get an email from us detailing the time and the topic as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for the time. Thank you for having us, and we do hope that everything that you've learned today you implement in your daily lives. So also please, the attendance link is on the chat box. So before you leave, just make sure you fill the attendance. We're just going to have light music while we fill the attendance. Thank you so much.